1418. Incredible us.
Hi, I'm Kabir.
Hi, I'm Mannat and I'm 14.
I'm 16, and today we're here with 1418, and we're going to be talking about something kind of tricky. We're going to be talking about social media communities and whether or not they're the real thing. Now, I know that's a kind of a tricky and controversial topic, but it's important to talk about, so we should talk about it. So, the first question that I want to ask Mannat is, how much time in a day do you think you spend on social media?
I think nowadays, considering the pandemic, a lot more. I think I end up spending like 5 hours just on my phone on some sort of social media. If I'm not studying, then for entertainment, trying to keep in touch with my friends as much as possible.
Yeah.
So
you spend around 5 hours. Even mine would be around the same. So it's
Yeah.
like a lot.
It's
Now let
quite
me
a bit.
flip the question. How much time do you think you spend with human interaction with your friends nowadays?
With my friends, not much at all. I mean, considering everything, I'm glad for social media because at least we have a way to stay in touch with our friends, some way to talk to them. But also, I feel like now it's just everything is so digital that we're losing that connection that should be there in real life.
I agree. So that's basically the entire situation for every single teenager out there. We're spending disproportionate amounts of time on social media versus how much time we're spending in real life, and that has serious implications. But yeah, so that has a lot of real life implications too, right? So Manat, another question. What are the benefits of social media over meeting people in real life?
Over meeting people in real life, I think it's convenient. You can talk to people and interact with people that are far, far away from you. People from all over the place, and you can get to know things about them, which normally, living in Gurgaon, there's only so many friends you will have. But over the internet, you can meet new people from all around and make all new sorts of friends. But also it is also risky because you have to be careful with cybersecurity and social media in general. So yeah,
That's it. So those are two really good points. Firstly, it helps you connect to other people. But the counter side of that is, of course, you're not really safe on social media because I can go and make a fake profile and pretend to
Exactly.
be, I can pretend to be you and you can pretend to be me. The other thing is, during the pandemic also, it's been especially helpful because, for example, I've not been able to meet you. Let's take that example. If I've not been able to meet you, FaceTiming or Zooming you would be so easy now,
Yeah.
right? So that's also where a disproportionate amount of social media comes from. But where do you think that real life interaction wins out over social media? Like if you and I are in real person, where is that better than like Zoom calling?
obviously it's not the same as physically being there with a person. It's different when you're there together in a place, the physical interaction, being together, it's different. You're in the moment, over a Zoom or a Skype call, there's only so many things you can talk about, so many things you can do.
Right, so that's another really good point.
It's limited.
Exactly,
Yeah.
limited. So that's another really good point that she raised. That it's primal human instinct to meet one another and be in person with one another. So that's essentially another benefit of real life over social media. Right, so the next thing that I want to talk to you about is quality, or the quality of interaction that you have with people on Zoom versus in real life. Which one do you think is better?
Real life, obviously.
Right, but why?
Why? Because like I said, on Zoom it's limited. There's only so many things you can do. You can basically just talk. When you're together, you can experience different things. You can go places. There's stuff you can do. And you can enjoy the other person's company. I think, humans, our brains are wired. You get lonely after a certain point. You cannot be isolated for that long without any human interaction. Imagine going like for months on end without seeing anyone. That's not good. That's not healthy for the human brain. I don't think we're built that way. I think we're meant to socialize. We're meant to be around people and, being able to talk about stuff, expressing our emotions, our thoughts. And that's best through with physical interaction.
That's true. And the next thing that I want to ask you, which is kind of getting to the point of this discussion, if on social media we're interacting, how real do you think the other person is keeping it? How real do you think the other person is being?
That's also
Let's flip
another.
it. How real do you think you are on social media, like versus how you are in real life?
I don't put 100% of my life on social media. Only my close friends will know what I'm really like. obviously I'm not going you don't want to put it out for the world to see, which is, I mean, it's another con, because you know you are not being 100%. No one's 100% real on social media. I know I'm not, and I also know other people are not. So that's, I think, probably one of the cons.
Exactly. That's another thing that we want to talk about, which is that the quality of interaction is also impaired by the fact that we're not two genuine people anymore having conversations. We're not forming genuine communities. We're forming communities of like-minded people who are exactly the same because they're trying to fit a certain norm or standard,
Yeah.
right? And that's another thing that's a huge problem with social media community.
So Kabir, I'm gonna ask you a question now. Considering 2020 and the circumstances we're in, the pandemic, everything is online, everything's digital. Our education is online, our socializing is online, our entire life is basically through our phones digitally. So how much do you think social interactions are being compromised, and how do you think we can bring them back?
That's a really good question. I think social interactions do also have to be compromised, I think, for the sake of the pandemic. But I also believe that now people, having seen that Zoom is an alternative, are preferring Zoom to real life. And also the second thing is that, during the pandemic for the last 9 months, when you have to live your life entirely on social media, any form of genuinity or genuineness, whatever the word is, goes out of the window, right? For the last 9 months, we've all been like, posting like the best pictures that we could find, or promoting a side of ourselves that we want the world to see. And that's unfortunately the only side the world can see because the world is like on lockdown. So I think that social interactions have changed a lot and definitely become a lot more plastic in that sense, because now you're only presenting one side of yourself to the world and the other avenue is completely shut off because we're not meeting as people. So I think that's definitely something that's been impaired. Right, so that was basically my answer. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about how you think we can't disregard social media completely, obviously. How do you think it's affected our hobbies and what, like I like to sketch.
Yeah.
You like to play football. So how do you think that's affected that?
That's a good question. I'll tell you what I think. I think that the honest truth is that, nothing will ever be the same, right, with social media. I think that sketching as a hobby will be fulfilled through social media or football. Which actually brings me kind of to the point of this entire conversation. I think that it's the jobs of like those around us and actual real life communities that we interact in, be it schools, be it like literal colonies, be it like friend circles, or parents also. It's their duty somewhere to ensure that we get some substitution for physical interaction and get to really live out those hobbies, but in a more as realistic a way as possible while keeping safety protocols under mind. And I think that's a really important thing to consider, because it's not like when a pandemic starts, someone's passion or need for a creative or a physical outlet just stops, right? You just need to adapt better to it. And I think that that's where we need to move as a society, really.
So we're not here to beat social media up, just to clarify. We are here because of social media. 1418 is a social media platform. Without it, we wouldn't be here right now. But, it's got its pros and cons. It's got its good side, its bad side. But it's not going anywhere despite any of that. So what do you think, Kabir?
I agree. I think that like my closing thoughts on social media are that, everything you need to do in a correct manner. I think that if you're going on Instagram and allowing random strangers to follow you and, DMing every single person that talks to you, that's really dumb. That's reckless behavior that will lead to bad consequences. Ultimately, you have to be smart and you have to pick and choose the correct platforms, the correct people to interact with, and reeling it back into the topic, the correct communities to interact with when you're online. Because social media can be a blessing, but the thing is you have to understand how to utilize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think use social media, be careful about how much you use it and what you're doing on it. Cybersecurity is important, guys. This is 1418. Thank you for listening to us talk about topics that are dear to us. If you have anything to say, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, so like, share and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update.
1418. Incredible us.